Hi guys, it's Chris here from Tech Tablets. In front of me here is the new successor to the Teclast X98 Air 3G. This is the X98 Pro. So it has an updated Cherry Trail Atom, which is a slightly faster CPU wise, but marginally. But the big change is the GPU is going to be a lot faster. Now it's the newer model from this one here, which was very popular. This is the Teclast X98 Air 3G. This model was very popular, one of the first tablet actually to go to dual boot. Now this doesn't have dual boot at the moment, but it will later on. So you can see on the box here that it's running this is the X5 Z8500. Now this turbo is up to 2.24 gigahertz, and it's slightly slower than the one that's in the more expensive, or quite expensive, Surface 3 Atom tablet. You can see here we've got 4 gigabytes of RAM. Now this is quite a surprise for me. I only expected Teclast to go with 2 gigabytes, cutting costs there, and it's quite a good move by them because 4 gigabytes is really, I find, the minimum you really want when you're running Windows. It allows you to do a lot more multitasking, and you're not using virtual memory all the time and swapping, so that's something you don't want to be doing. So we have the 4 gigabytes eMMC. There is no 3G on this model at the moment, or 4G, but that should be coming later on, maybe next year, in a revised model. So you can see the box looks exactly like the Air 3G and the Air 2. You're going to use the same box, cost cutting of course, and I don't really need to change it. So now the tablet is at the moment just being released in Chinese, and this is the Chinese version, not the international version, which is coming out in about 4 days or so. So here we have the tablet. And you can see it looks exactly identical to the Air 2 and the Air 3G. So put them both here side by side. And you can see, yeah, they are, well, exactly the same. They pair exactly the same. And you can see the difference is just, it says Pro on the back here. And in fact, the paint job seems to be a little bit darker. You can just see that it's come out a little bit darker here. Now, we'll have lots of comparison videos later on comparing it to the old model here versus the new, to see what kind of difference it makes with the new processor. So just give you a little quick walk around here on the tablet. We have the front-facing 2 megapixel camera. On the bottom here is where all the ports are. We have micro HDMI, 3.5mm headphone out. Now that's only the 2-pole. Okay, so if you're going to use a remote or a microphone, it's not going to work on this. And micro USB, so it's only USB 2. I would have really liked to have seen USB 3 on this, but unfortunately they didn't go with that. They probably didn't want to change the design of the tablet to accommodate the new USB 3 port, keep down the costs. And there's a microphone here. This is your micro SD card slot. Later on we'll see another slot here, hopefully for the 4G SIM card that we can put in later revisions. And along the side here we have volume up and down, rocker, power on. Now these are plastic buttons, not metal. And this is a 5 megapixel autofocus camera on the rear. Doesn't do too bad. If I'm comparing it with this model here, they'll be probably the exact same module. I don't see why they wouldn't. That's an okay camera, it takes okay photos. On the top here, this is plastic. Along the top, we'll have your wireless antenna will be up here. There is no GPS on board this model. And almost missed out here is the speakers. So we've got 2 speakers on the back here. They're not particularly loud. They sound okay, but you know what tablet speakers are like. They're not really normally that good, and they're not that wonderful here. The Surface 3 has way better speakers than this model here. Now the retail price is going to be around about $250-$60 US. I picked this one up for a little bit more expensive because I was in a rush to just get hold of it quickly. And so, you know, I had to pay more for it. And it's in Chinese, but I've installed Windows 10 in English now, and I'll do a quick boot up here and show you how long it takes to boot up while I show you what's in the rest of the box here. So in the box, the usual, we have a little instruction manual that's guarantee card, I think, all in Chinese, so basically useless for me. We have an OTG adapter, so micro USB to full-size USB port. You definitely need that. You need to take that with you all the time. Given me, the seller's thrown in a adapter there for EU to US. It's US 2-prong, the charger. Now the charger is rated to 5 volts, 2.5 amps there. And a white micro USB cable for charging there. As I mentioned, later on they will have a dual boot BIOS and image. They've mentioned that on their Weibo, which is the Chinese Twitter equivalent, that it will be coming out at a later stage. So hopefully we'll see that in a couple of months. So here's the tablet. Now I didn't have too much problems, well actually I didn't have any problems really with the driver install and Windows install. It was all in Chinese, and I do recommend you do wait for the international version because you're going to have licensing problems with the CD key because it's the Chinese only version that this originally came with. So I couldn't actually use that key at all. Just wouldn't let me install. So I had to go with generic key, and now I'm going to have to buy myself a Windows 10 key for this. So it's worked out quite expensive to get this early. But anyway, that's what I've done because I wanted to get it quickly for the website. So the drivers, if you are interested, if you do have the Chinese version, the drivers are going to be on techtablets.com, and I used Double Driver to install them, to make the backup and reinstall them when it all went fine, and I copied over the touch setting file for the screen. So touch is working all fine, rotation you saw just works fine before, and I'll just go over a couple of little things here. So we have tablet mode, of course. It seems to always want to boot into tablet mode when you start it up. The screen brightness seems to be around about the same as the X98 Air 3G. Of course, it's using the same screen. That's the Retina screen there from LG. IPS panel, very nice screen. And it is not fully laminated. So you can see we have the touch digitizer glass on the top. Below is the screen. And there's a gap of about 1 millimeter or so. And they're very nice colors and contrast and brightness and viewing angles with this screen. I mean, you just go to any store and have a look at your local Apple store and electronic store that maybe stocks the iPad Air or the Air 2, and that's the same exact screen you're getting here. So a free space, of course I did a fresh install here, and the free space that it's giving me is 4.26 gigabytes of the 64. So you do lose a bit. And no doubt when you do actually buy the version that's the international version that has the recovery partition and everything, that you might have a little bit more free space, maybe a little less, depending on how the setup is of that. So the cameras, everything is all working, and everything so far seems good. I haven't actually run any benchmarks yet. I'll have another video up and coming very shortly, so keep an eye out for that. And I will do lots of gaming tests. I know you people like them. You want to see Dota 2 and League of Legends. All those games should run a lot better now than the previous version. So definitely with the Bay Trail, with now its updated graphics. Over the Bay Trail, sorry, with the Cherry Trail. So I'll quickly go here and show you that we have that 4 gigabytes of RAM on board, and the Atom X5 Z8500 there. And the base speed is 1.4.4 gigahertz, but that can turbo up to 2.24. So it's a little bit faster than the 2.16 we get on the Bay Trail Z3736F that's on the original Air 3G and the Air 2. And that 4 gigabytes RAM, double the RAM, is going to really help out there. That's going to be really good. Good for multitasking. And also I will test out the HDMI port. Now this should be able to, in theory, because the Cherry Trail supports it, 4K at 30 Hz. And I know I've got a 1440p monitor. I will test that out, and that should run that at 60 Hz. Something that the Bay Trails would just max out at 1080p only. So if you're running a high resolution monitor and you want to output the display, this is going to be good for that. Quick look at Device Manager, and I'm sorry, I've only just set this up, so no benchmarks at this stage, but I will have a video up very shortly, probably today. And we can see here that it's a Samsung they're using. Now, they did mention in their whole press conference that it was supposed to be an eMMC 5 spec. So it should be a little bit faster than the normal speeds we're getting. And down here, sensors are all the same, so is the wireless is the same. It's wireless in. Unfortunately, they haven't upgraded the wireless. I really would have liked to have seen dual band or wireless AC. I guess we can't get everything, which is a shame. And the processor down here, you can see, so it's a quad core, 1 thread per core there. So there's the details on that. Network adapter is the Realtek. The same Realtek I've seen in every single Chinese tablet so far that I've reviewed. Apart from what, some of them do have the Broadcom. So that is only 150 megabits per second maximum. So it's a shame they didn't update that at all. Alright, so that's just a quick unboxing. And I'll just quickly show you the weight of the tablet. There's my trusty scales here. And it's very hard to see actually the readout on the... There we go. You can just make it out. So it's 527 grams. And the thickness is going to be exactly the same as the X98 Air 2 and Air 3G. So let's have a look. It comes in at almost 9 millimeters. If you can see that there, so that's just below 9 millimeters, so around 8.8 millimeters thin there. So it's not bad at all, the thickness, and the build quality is the same as the last tablet there. So no surprises. It's a good build, fairly solid. It works. There's no creaks. I can hear sometimes creaks do appear after a while, just around here where they've joined the front and the rear halves together. Sometimes there's a little bit of flex in it, but I can't hear anything yet at this stage. It all seems good. And I'm not going to do any crazy bend tests or anything like that. It will break. Now, this is not a Gorilla Glass screen, okay? So it's just a tempered glass. It's your soda lime glass screen that can scratch quite easily. That's why it doesn't actually come with a screen protector on it pre-installed like some of the other tablets. It's just got that one for the transport when it's in transit there, just to protect the screen. So it can scratch easily, and yeah, you've got to be a little bit careful with it. Okay, so if you're interested in this tablet, I will have a lot more videos coming up, so do keep an eye out for my playlist of this tablet on the X98 Pro. There's going to be a lot of gaming tests, there will be benchmarks, and I'll go over and just run things like the speakers, performance, multitasking as well. I'll put it to my monitor. I'm going to try and cover a lot of things with this tablet because I know it's quite popular, and I know a lot of people have been sending me emails and they really want to know everything about this tablet. I will try and get all that information out to you. Also, do check out techtablets.com for this tablet, and there'll be more information also in the forum. If you've got any questions, there's a forum thread dedicated to this tablet here, so if you've got any questions, ask them there. Thank you for watching the video, and I'll hopefully see you on my up and coming ones. Bye for now.